Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, great. Welcome to MCNA's third virtual Halaqa. Jazakallah khair for joining on time. My name is Mantasha, and I'm your host for the MCNA Virtual Halaqa series. This series is presented by MCNA. Today's topic is about Yusuf alayhi salam, a dream come true. I'm so excited for today's session, and I hope you are too. So as of right now, we have almost 300 people who have joined, mashallah. While we wait for more people to join, let's begin the icebreaker activity. The icebreaker is share one thing that you're loving about staying home. I'll start us off while you guys can type. So this past week, I have enjoyed writing some poetry and learning to cook with my mom. Let's see what you all have been up to. Playing board games, gardening, painting, video games. Oh, I love Wii. Okay, great. It seems like just about everyone has been busy with good activities, mashallah. So MCNA is also suggesting some daily activities. We have posted activities for this week, which is week section. You can find it on your screen in the control panel, or you can ask your parents to help you find and download it, inshallah. We will also be sharing these activities on our social media. Please make sure to follow our MCNA YMJ Facebook and to receive reminders for these activities daily. These pictures are submissions of the walking from Ahmad, Rania, and Imad in Virginia. This is another submission from Hani of Maryland, who shared this picture of her boat from this past week. Thank you to those of you who shared your pictures with us. If you want to share your work as well, please email us at mcnamj.socialmedia@gmail.com. So before we start, we have a couple of announcements. Prime Times, our monthly online webinars. The recordings can be found on our YouTube channel. MCNA also offers YMJ courses in the spring and fall. Our most recent one just ended last week. We also have a companion magazine for kids, which is written by kids all across the country. There are 2 magazine issues a year. So if you're good at writing, feel free to send your poems, essays, or recipes to us. The magazine also offers all sorts of fun competitions where you can participate and win prizes. There is also the Journey Through the Quran course, which is coming up during Ramadan, inshallah. It's offered for 2 different age groups, the MCNA age level and for the YMJ age group. It's a multiple week-long course, and there will be 3 sessions per week with a variety of speeds. Register if you haven't already. The flyer will be shared with you through WhatsApp groups and can be found on our social media pages. Last but not least, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can find our program recordings. Alright, let's start today's program with tilawat of Quran. I will recite Surah Alaq. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى إن إلى ربك الرجعى أرأيت الذي ينهى عبدا إذا صلى أرأيت إن كان على الهدى أو أمر بالتقوى أرأيت إن كذب وتولى ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا بالناصية ناصية كاذبة خاطئة فليدع ناديه سندع الزبانية كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب صدق الله العظيم. Now I would like to introduce Sister Hifza, today's speaker. Sister Hifza is a mom of 3 and currently lives in Virginia. She grew up in New York City and graduated with a human resources degree. She joined ICNA a year and a half ago and is a part of the local Y Islam and MCNA teams. She also teaches at a Sunday school in her area. In her free time, she likes to spend time with her family and friends, travel, and study comparative religion. Now we'll turn it over to Sister Hifza.
Jazakallah khair, Mantasha. Can everyone hear me? Let's see. Okay, yes. All right, Jazakallah khair. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Thank you everyone for joining today's session. I hope everyone is doing good and you're staying healthy and safe, inshallah. So before we begin today's topic of Yusuf alayhi salam's story, I wanted to ask all of you, why do you think your parents signed you up for this virtual halaqa or any, religious gathering? So why would they prefer for you guys to join this halaqa today instead of, spending your time doing something else? Okay, yeah, to learn Islamic stuff. It's good to know your religion, to learn about the prophets, to get rewards. Yes, yes. All right, yes, mashallah. You guys, yes. Mashallah, you guys are so smart. Yes, those are all the correct reasons, right? We want to attend gatherings like this so we can gain more knowledge, we can worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we can be better people and Muslims, right? Inshallah. So I wanted to share this hadith with you before I start. Where Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, when a group of people gather to remember Allah, the angels surround them with their wings. So imagine that, okay? So the angels surround them with their wings and Allah's mercy surrounds them. And Allah makes mention of those people who are remembering Him to those who are near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can you guys imagine that? So we should all feel so special and honored that, that we are here together remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So may Allah accept this time that we spend together as a worship and may He be pleased with all of us. Ameen, ameen. So today's topic is, as you guys know, Yusuf alayhi salam, a dream come true. Excuse me. And here is what you guys can expect today, okay? So inshallah, first I will tell you the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. And as I tell you the story, I want you to imagine yourself in the shoes of Yusuf alayhi salam and try and understand how he felt in those situations, okay? And pretend that you are on this journey with him, okay? And then next I'll cover some of the lessons that we learned from this story. So you'll need a paper and pen because I want you to jot down some notes, okay? And because there's lessons in this story for everyone, from children to youth to parents. So inshallah, we have a lot to cover. Then we will cover, I have a short homework assignment for you. So we'll go over that and then we'll learn one of Allah's names today. And then your favorite part, right? Kahoot, yay, inshallah. And then we'll end with dua, inshallah. All right, so actually, I wanted to go back. Oops. Before I show you that slide, I wanted to ask you guys, actually I wanted to tell you that the entire story of Yusuf alayhi salam actually occurs in one surah of the Quran. It's very unique in that sense because typically stories of prophets are scattered throughout the Quran and they don't occur in chronological order. So this is a unique story in that sense. Okay, so before we start, so I want to ask you guys, Yusuf alayhi salam comes from a generation of prophets. So let's see if you guys know the name of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam's father, his grandfather, and also his great grandfather. Let's see if you guys can guess. Oh, good job. Okay, yep. Yaqub alayhi salam, Ishaq alayhi salam, and Ibrahim alayhi salam. Yep, you got them all three. Good job, you guys. MashaAllah. So you guys are absolutely right. Let's change. So Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam's father was Yaqub alayhi salam, and his father was Ishaq alayhi salam, and his father was Ibrahim alayhi salam. So mashallah, so he was from a generation of prophets. Yusuf alayhi salam also had 11 other brothers. 10 of them were his half brothers who were older than him, and he had one younger brother named Binyamin. Okay, and Yusuf alayhi salam, as a young boy, he had very good manners and he was very loved by his father, Yaqub alayhi salam. One day, Yusuf alayhi salam came to his father and he said, "Father, I dreamed of 11 stars and the sun and the moon, and I saw them all bow down before me." Hearing this, his father was so happy because he knew what that meant. It meant that Yusuf alayhi salam would become a prophet like him and his previous generations. But he told him, "Do not tell your brothers this because they would be very jealous." And Yaqub alayhi salam's advice to his son was full of wisdom, and he knew the character and the moral of his other older sons. And he knew that they will be jealous. And he warned Yusuf alayhi salam to be on the guard. Okay, and I want you guys to remember this dream because we will come back to it at the end. Okay, inshallah. So just like Yaqub alayhi salam suspected, the brothers were indeed very jealous. His brothers held a meeting and they came up with a plan to get rid of Yusuf alayhi salam. The brothers said, "Yusuf and his younger brother are more dear to dad than we are." They thought their father loved Yusuf and Binyamin more. And one of them said, "Kill Yusuf or send him to another land, so our father's attention will be free for us. And then after that, we'll become righteous." Can you believe that? They were so silly. They thought that they could do something bad on purpose and then become good, and then it will be all okay. Silly them, right? Another brother said, "Do not kill him. Let's throw him into a deep well where some caravan can pick him up." So they came to their father and said, "Send Yusuf with us tomorrow. And he can go and play with us and have fun, and we'll take good care of him." And their father, knowing them, he said, No. I'm afraid a wolf might eat him or something." But they begged him and they guilt-tripped him by saying, "Oh, you don't trust us, father, but we will take good care of him." So finally, their father agrees and he sends Yusuf alayhi salam with them. They take Yusuf with him the next day and they grabbed him and they threw him into a well. Can you imagine yourself now as Yusuf alayhi salam? He was just betrayed by his brothers, right? So he's in total isolation. He's separated from his loving father and alone in this dark, deep well. Okay? But Yusuf alayhi salam didn't complain, and he never said, "Why me? Why bad things happen only to me?" He never said any of that. He turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in the well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Yusuf alayhi salam feel better, and he consoled him and gave him some hope. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Yusuf alayhi salam, there will come a time when you will tell them about what they did. Okay? And that made Yusuf alayhi salam feel better. The brothers had taken Yusuf alayhi salam's shirt with them, and they put some blood on there to show their father. So during nighttime, they returned back to Yaqub alayhi salam, and they said, we were racing one another, and we left Yusuf behind with our things, and a wolf ate him. You would not believe us, but we're telling the truth. Of course, they were not telling the truth. And they showed him the shirt, deceptively stained with blood. And Yaqub alayhi salam was very sad to hear this news. So let's see how Yaqub alayhi salam reacted to this news. So first, he knew the nature of his sons. He didn't believe them, and he knew that Yusuf must be alive somewhere. And he turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he prayed to Allah for comfort. And he said, it is best to be patient, and Allah alone I seek help to bear what you are saying. So back in the well, there's Yusuf alayhi salam. A caravan was passing by, and they stopped at the well to get water. And they said, oh, when they put their bucket down, they said, good news, there is a boy in here. They took him with them, and they sold him as a slave for a small price in Egypt. A slave is a person who does all the hard work for someone else, and they don't get paid. So the person that bought him was a very important person in Egypt. His title was a aziz. Okay, so now all of a sudden Yusuf alayhi salam is in a palace. Yusuf alayhi salam was amazed that a little while ago he was in a well, and now he was in a palace with comfort and food. And he was grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protecting him and taking him out of that well. This was how Allah's plan was slowly unfolding. This is how Allah brought Yusuf alayhi salam to Egypt and settled him in that land. Allah always succeeds in his purpose, though most people do not realize his plans. Now, as growing up in the Aziz's house, Yusuf alayhi salam became fully mature, and Allah blessed him with incredible beauty, wisdom, and intelligence. And this is how Allah rewards those people who do good. And later on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught him how to interpret dreams as well. The Aziz's wife in the house, she tried to make him do bad things, but Yusuf alayhi salam refused her and told her no good comes to people who do wrong. And he didn't want to do anything that Allah doesn't like. He wanted to obey Allah. Because he was a sincere believer, Allah helped him to turn away from doing any shameful deed. He would have listened to her and did bad things, except that Yusuf alayhi salam remembered Allah and didn't want to disobey Allah in any way. So here, now the Aziz's wife was really upset with him. So she falsely accused him, so she lied, and she had him thrown in jail. So Yusuf alayhi salam turned to Allah, and he said, I would prefer going to prison to what this woman is calling me to do. And he said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you do not protect me from this, I may do something wrong. So Yusuf alayhi salam preferred to go to jail over being immodest. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered his prayer and protected him from this. So there is Yusuf alayhi salam in jail. Now, while he's in jail, the king of Egypt has a mysterious dream. He dreamt that there were 7 skinny cows that were eating 7 fat cows. And everybody was puzzled. Nobody knew what that dream meant. But a servant in the king's palace remembered Yusuf alayhi salam, who knew the meaning of dreams. Yusuf alayhi salam was still in jail and told the servant what the king's dream meant. So what the king's dream meant that the 7 fat cows represented 7 years that will come where there will be lots of food, good time, and prosperity for Egypt. But then the 7 skinny cows represented 7 years that will come after that, where there will be famine and dry land and nothing will grow and there's not going to be enough food for everyone. So Yusuf salam advised the king. He said, you know what, during the first 7 years when you have lots of food, store some of that food for the 7 years when there is going to be hardship. So the king was so happy that with this advice and this interpretation of the dream, that he took Yusuf salam out of prison. And he found proof that Yusuf salam was innocent and he did nothing wrong. And even the Aziz's wife, she had to confess in front of everyone that she had lied. And the king gave Yusuf salam a very important job to manage the land of Egypt. And this is how Yusuf salam was established in the land and given lots of powers in Egypt. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we touch with our mercy whom we will, and we do not allow to be lost the reward of those who do good. So good deeds are never wasted. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always helps his good people. So as planned, Yusuf salam saved huge amounts of food for the first 7 years of prosperity, for the 7 years of hardship. They saved enough food for all of Egypt and they still had extra food left over. So he told the king to sell the food to other countries and other cities, and that way, they can help other people as well. Because Yusuf salam was very charitable and very caring of others. And can you guys guess who turned up to buy some food from Yusuf salam? Let's see if you guys can guess. His father, no. The king, no. His brothers, yes, you guys are right. So his brothers showed up, okay? And they were interested in buying the food that Yusuf salam had stored up. The brothers returned, I'm sorry, excuse me. So they came to buy the food and Yusuf salam recognized them right away, but they did not recognize him. He asked them to come back the next time with their younger brother Benjamin, and he secretly returned all the goods that they had brought for payment back into their bags. So at that time, you guys, they used to barter. So they used to exchange goods for goods. So Yusuf salam secretly returned all the goods that they had brought for payment back to them to encourage them to come back next time with Benjamin. So now the brothers return to their father with the food, and they say, we have been denied food in the future unless you send Benjamin with us. So let's see how Yaqub salam responds to this request. So at first, he's reluctant because he knew what the brothers did with Yusuf salam, and he didn't want that to happen again. But then he agreed, but warned them not to repeat what they did with Yusuf salam. This time they swore to God that they will guard him and will take good care of him. So Yaqub salam advised them not to enter Egypt all together from one gate, but enter from separate gates for their safety. So Yaqub salam balances, taking precautions to avoid risk with putting tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we can all relate to this right now, right? Because we have to, during this time of, coronavirus, we have to take all of the necessary precautions for our safety and health, like washing hands and social distancing and staying at home. And then we put our full trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right, for his protection. So now let's see what happens next. So the brothers come back to Egypt, and they bring Binyamin this time. Okay? And Yusuf alayhi salam secretly spoke to Binyamin, and he revealed his identity to him alone. And both brothers were so happy, and they hugged and they talked. And Yusuf alayhi salam said to him, "Do not be sad by their actions, because they were not nice to him either." So now, when the brothers were leaving, Yusuf alayhi salam made it look like as if Binyamin took the king's golden cup. So the king's guards found the golden cup in Benjamin's bag and didn't let him go back with the brothers. And Yusuf alayhi salam did that so he can keep his brother with him. Uh-oh, right? What are the brothers going to do now? So the brothers had to go back with bad news again. This time they were sorry and they did not know how they were going to face their father. They told their father that Binyamin committed a theft. He stole, and they could not protect him. And they said, "You know what? Go, if you don't believe us, we're telling the truth. But if you don't believe us, go ask the people that traveled with us in our caravan. We are telling the truth." So now let's see how Yaqub alayhi salam reacts. To a second son now separated from him. So at first he scolds his sons. He says, "How can you believe that he stole something? You know the noble character of your brother. How can you believe that?" Then he says, "You know what? No, your souls have prompted you to do wrong, but it is best to be patient. May Allah bring all of them back to me." He's filled with sorrow and he loses his eyesight. But he says, "I tell my grief and sorrow only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." So he turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he is patient. He bears the news patiently. And he tells his sons, "You know what? Go out and find Yusuf and your brother. But don't lose hope and despair not of relief from Allah." So he is sad, but he never loses hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, "Indeed, no one despairs of relief from Allah except the disbelieving people." Okay? Now, the brothers return again for food, and they say to Yusuf alayhi salam this time, "Be charitable to us. We have come with goods not good in quality, but please still give us a full measure." And after hearing that, Yusuf alayhi salam reveals his identity to them. And he says, "Do you know what you did with Yusuf and his brother when you were ignorant?" And they're all surprised. They're like, "Are you Yusuf?" And he says, "Yes, I am Yusuf, and this is my brother. Allah has certainly favored us. Indeed, whoever fears Allah and is patient, then indeed Allah does not allow to be lost the reward of those who do good." Okay? He reminds his brothers about Allah's favors, and Allah rewards those who are mindful of Him and who are patient. And the brothers realized the mistake that they made. Then the brothers said, "By Allah, certainly Allah has preferred you over us, and indeed we have been sinners." And Yusuf alayhi salam makes dua to Allah to forgive his brothers. Yusuf replied, saying, "No blame will there be upon you today. Allah will forgive you, and He is the most merciful of the merciful." So Yusuf alayhi salam says to his brothers, "Take my shirt and put it over the face of my father, and he will become seeing again, and then bring the entire family here to Egypt." And when they put the shirt over Yaqub alayhi salam's face, his eyesight returned. And then the brothers said to their father, "O father, ask forgiveness for our sins. Indeed, we have been sinners." And Yaqub alayhi salam said, "I will ask forgiveness for you from my Lord. Indeed, it is He who is forgiving, the merciful." Then they all went to Egypt together to visit Yusuf alayhi salam. And Yusuf alayhi salam took his parents and he raised his parents to the throne. And then the entire family bowed down to him in prostration. And he said, "Oh, my father, this is the explanation of my dream I saw as a child." So if you guys remember, remember he saw a moon, a stars, and the sun all bowing down to him. So Allah had made it a reality. So Yusuf alayhi salam could have used this opportunity to boast of how great he was and brag of all the success and all the power he had in Egypt, or even to vent out his feelings to his brothers, or even taunt his brothers. But he didn't do any of that. Okay, he did the exact opposite. He showed his gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for saving him in the well, for getting him out of prison and giving him this power, for arranging to be reunited with his family after such a long time. And he even went further, and instead of blaming his brothers about what they did, he blames Shaitan for inciting them. And then he turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this dua. Okay, he acknowledges Allah's favors and says that Allah has been good to me. So let me read this dua for you guys. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فاطر السماوات والأرض أنت ولي في الدنيا والآخرة توفني مسلما وألحقني بالصالحين. This dua, you guys, it means the creator of the heavens and the earth. You are my protector in this world and in the hereafter. Let me die in true devotion to you as a Muslim. So let me die as a Muslim and join me with the righteous. So Yusuf is looking back and he's being grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he's turning to Allah in dua to keep him steadfast, to keep him devoted to Allah. So Yusuf thanks Allah for protecting him in every step of the way. He prays to Allah to keep him faithful and be an obedient servant of Allah as long as he lives, and to join him with the righteous people after his death. This dua also has Allah's name that we're going to do later on today, Al-Wali. Okay, so we'll come back to that. I do want you guys to memorize this dua. You're actually going to see this dua as part of the weekly activities. They should be posted in the handouts, but we also will be posting these daily on Instagram and Facebook, okay? So I do want you guys to memorize this dua with meaning, inshallah. And also for your homework assignment, I want you guys to look up in the Quran. I want you to go to Surah Yusuf, okay? You don't have to do it right now, but go to Surah Yusuf and look up what verse number is this dua in, okay? So if this dua is in Surah Yusuf, I want you guys to look up what number verse this dua is in, okay, inshallah. All right, so now let's look at, this is where you're going to need your paper and pencil or something to write with to take down notes. So let's look at the lessons that we learn from this story. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran in Surah Yusuf, verse number 7, there are lessons in the story of Yusuf and his brothers for all those who seek them. Okay, so the Quran does not tell us stories just for the sake of storytelling. We are supposed to use our mind and think about all the lessons Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to take away from this and become better people and better Muslims, inshallah, right? So there's lots of lessons, so I'll cover a few of them, okay, inshallah. So the first is be righteous and obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we learned that Yusuf salam was always righteous and he always obeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even in the toughest situations. Okay, he was mindful that Allah is watching him and that he would have to answer for his actions. So just like that, we should also be righteous and obey Allah, because we know that as Muslims, we are accountable for our actions in the hereafter. Okay, the next lesson is to be grateful and don't complain. So in every situation, look for the positives. the blessings. Remember Allah's favors upon us, right? Just like Yusuf alayhi salam did. He showed gratitude throughout every situation. There's always more to be thankful for than to complain about. Okay, and studies show that the more we practice being grateful, the more happier and content we feel. So I want you to see how you guys can practice this right now. Okay, think about how you can complain less in these times. You know, like we're all stuck home. Look at it in a positive way. Okay, look at all the favors of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala that you still have. Right, we all have a roof over our heads. We have pantries and fridges full of food. We're safe and we're healthy. We have our families around us. Alhamdulillah, right? And I'm sure there's, you know, if you start to count, you'll see that you have less to complain about and more to be grateful for all the time. And when you are grateful, then we naturally have more sabr, more patience. Okay, these things they go hand in hand. Okay, another lesson that we learn here is that we trust in Allah's plan. Whatever Allah wills, He fulfills it anyhow. And humans can never defeat His plans. We just have to trust it and know that Allah is the all-wise and most merciful, and He is the most loving. Everything that happens to us has good. It's this khair in it, okay? Some more lessons that we learn from this story. Be forgiving, okay? Not seeking revenge like Yusuf alayhi salam. So there is no bigger betrayal than what Yusuf alayhi salam felt, right? When his brothers threw him into the well, right? He all of a sudden he's playing and now he's been thrown into a well by his brothers and separated from his family. So, but he still chose, okay? He chose to overlook it, and we can do the same. So whenever our siblings or our friends, you know, they do something that we don't like, it will always be nothing, you know, compared to what he felt. So we can forgive too. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, forgive others. Wouldn't you want me to forgive you? Yes, right? Inshallah, we want Allah ta'ala to forgive all of us so we can forgive. Another lesson we learn here is that we turn to Allah for help. We have to trust in Allah in all the times, the good times and the bad times. And we rely on Allah's knowledge and wisdom, okay? So our knowledge and wisdom is limited. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He can see the big picture. And we only see pieces of the puzzle. So if our life was a puzzle, we can only see pieces of it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, can see the entire puzzle completed. So we put our trust in Him and we turn to Him alone for help. Okay. And also know that, you know, whatever trials, whatever tests of Allah that you face or we're all facing together, they're here to make us better versions of ourselves. Okay. So don't lose hope and don't give up. Just like Yaqub alayhi salam, right? What he said, despair not of relief from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also know that success and failures, you know, only come from Allah. When the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam threw him in the well, they thought they were causing failure to Yusuf alayhi salam. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used that very event and he used that event to pave the way for the divine purpose of making Yusuf alayhi salam settle in Egypt and to make him a powerful leader. Okay, so these are some of the lessons that we learn from this story. So this is what we've learned, right? We have learned that when we rely on Allah alone, when we turn to Allah humbly, when we believe in Allah, when we do good deeds, and when we are patient, and when we are conscious of Allah and mindful of Him, when we are charitable and forbearing, and when we put our trust in Allah, and when we obey Allah, the help of Allah arrives. Okay? Well, we have to strive and make efforts and do all these things. Okay? And inshallah, yes, Allah will help us. So how does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us when we do these things? Okay, Allah Ta'ala helps us in many ways. So He can protect us from harm. He shows us more mercy. He comforts us, consoles us. He can increase us in knowledge and wisdom. He strengthens our characters. He gives us peace and tranquility. He can help us guard our modesty. He can instill confidence in us and give us courage to deal with our situations. And He helps us stay steadfast and become spiritually stronger. He helps us to have self-control. He helps us persevere without fear. And He can forgive our sins and our bad deeds and answer all our du'as. So if we have this high and pure character, we will come out successful, even under the most difficult circumstances. Okay, and this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He rewards the righteous good people, and He gives them success in this world and in the hereafter. So guys, this is your homework. Okay, I write this down. So I want you guys to look up in the Quran what surah number is Surah Yusuf in the Quran. Okay, so there's 3 questions I have for you. So number 1, look up what surah number is Surah Yusuf in the Quran, and how many verses does this surah have. Okay, and the third is what I asked you before, is I want you to first memorize the dua, of course, and then look up what verse number the dua is that we learned today. So on Saturday, okay, I want you to ask your parents to go to the MCNA Facebook page or the Instagram page, and I want you to ask them, this question is going to be posted there tomorrow, inshallah. And I want you to type the answers in the comments on Facebook or Instagram, okay? And our Facebook pages and our Instagram pages, it's just MCNA YMJ, okay? All right. And today's name, Allah's name that we're doing is Al-Wali. Allah has 99 beautiful names, okay? And His names actually represent His attributes. They tell us about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So to get closer to Him, we should learn His names in Arabic. We should know the meaning of these names, right? Because how can we love someone that we don't know? So we want to know the meanings of their names, and then we want to have faith and iman on each one of those names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's several names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in this surah, but we were just going to do one today, inshallah. So it's Al-Wali. It means the protecting friend, one who is the friend of the righteous, and the one who guards us and protects us. Okay. So as part of the our weekly activity handout, you will see this name there, and there is a printable, so you can print it and color it. So I want you guys to do that, inshallah, this week, and also memorize the name with meanings. Okay. All right, alhamdulillah. So we are done with this part. Are there any questions at this time? Let's see. No. Okay. All right. If there's no questions, let's get to your favorite part, which is Kahoot. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me try to open up Kahoot. So you guys get your devices out in that while. And well, I'll pull up Kahoots here for you guys. Okay. Okay. So do you guys see it? Let me see. All right. So guys, join the Kahoot. So you can go on the website or you can join through the app. The game pin is 193538. Okay, 193538. Okay, so I see you guys are joining in. Okay, so while you guys are joining in, wow, alhamdulillah, there's over 500 of you guys in the room. So while we're waiting for everyone to join, I do want to make a small announcement. Let's see if I can put the volume down just a little bit. Okay, so like Matasha said in the beginning, this presentation is brought to you by MCNA, okay, and YMJ. MCNA is Muslim Children of North America, and YMJ is Young Muslims Juniors. And we are a non-profit organization, okay? So our team is entirely made up of dedicated volunteers who bring these programmings to you guys. So we offer many courses and halaqas, and we want authentic religious education to be easily accessible to everyone, to every child, okay? And we want our Muslim children to recognize their value and understand their role as leaders in the society. And we can't do this without your generous support from our parents, okay? Through your donations, you know, we can ensure that we can continue to provide these kind of programs for our kids. So we do depend on donations from you guys to keep producing new content and to be able to reach more and more people. So after this is over, I want you guys all to do two things, okay? Number one is I want you to ask your parents to make sure that they like and follow all of our social media pages, so Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, okay? And I want you guys all to encourage everyone to donate to MCNA and YMJ, okay? So we have over 500 of you. So if everyone donates about, let's say $5, you know, how much would that be? Who's good enough? Let me see. So if everyone donates $500, how much money would that be? $2,500. Okay, thank you. Yes. So, you know, $5 may not be much, right, for everybody, for you guys, but altogether, when it adds up, it will help us to keep, you know, to keep providing all these programmings that we have, inshallah. Okay, so we will be sharing a donation link with you guys within the next 24 hours. You'll get that in the email. So I do encourage you all to donate online, okay? And jazakallah for your support. Sorry, so we do have 422 players joined in, so I am going to start the game, okay? All right, so we'll have to just still a few more joining in. And you guys know that we all of the previous recordings for the virtual halaqas are available on YouTube. Okay, our channel is MCNA YMJ. You guys can access all of the previous recordings there as well. And also know that no students are ever denied admission based on the tuition. Okay, so we, like I said before, we do want to make, you know, authentic religious education available for everyone. So, okay, all right, let's get started, okay? Bismillah. All right, you guys, the first question. Who was Prophet Yusuf's great grandfather? Was it Ibrahim alayhi salam, Yaqub alayhi salam, Ishaq alayhi salam, or Ismail alayhi salam? So you guys have 10 more seconds. So who was Prophet Yusuf's great grandfather? And the correct answer is Ibrahim alayhi salam. Yes, 244 of you got that right. Okay. All right, good job, you guys. Okay, next. Which one was not a part of Prophet Yusuf's dream? The sun, the planets, the moon, or the stars? So which was not a part of Yusuf alayhi salam's dream? That's right, the planets were not. Okay, next question. Allah consoled Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam in the well. True or false? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala consoled Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam in the well. Yes, he did. Okay. Where did the caravan take Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam? Saudi Arabia, Israel, Yemen, or Egypt? Where did the caravan take Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam? Egypt is the correct answer. Yes. Okay. True or false? The Aziz's wife did not succeed in making Yusuf do bad things. True or false? She did not succeed in making Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam do bad things. True. She was not successful. All right. Good job, you guys. Okay. True or false? Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam was loved by his half brothers. So these are his older brothers. Was he loved by his older half brothers? False. Yep, he was not loved by them. Loved by them. Okay. All right, Sidra. Okay. Which one was not Prophet Yaqub's reaction to the bad news? He sought Allah's help, he did not lose hope, he was patient, or he punished his sons. Which was not his reaction? He punished his sons. That was not his reaction. That's correct. Or Vanikins is leading the board, you guys. How many days per week will Mikna YMJ have journeyed through the Quran? 1, 2, 3, or 7? Ooh, we got mixed answers here. All right, so the correct answer was 3 for the Mikna one, and then 4 weeks for the YMJ one. Okay, Ranikins is still leading the board, right behind Safa and Zaid. Good job, you guys. True or false? Binyamin was Prophet Yusuf's youngest brother. So true or false? Binyamin was Prophet Yusuf's youngest brother. Ah, it's true. Good job. Okay. So let's see who's leading the scoreboard now. Ranikins again, and Ayman and Ibrahim right behind. Okay. True or false? Kids can submit their work, their writings, their artwork in the companion magazine. Is that true or false? So the link for our companion magazine is posted on our Facebook page. So if you have not subscribed, you can, okay? And the answer is true. Kids, it's a magazine for kids by kids, okay? All right, let's see who's leading the scoreboard here. Ranikins, all right. What was found in Binyamin's bag that belonged to the king? A golden ring, a silver cup, or a golden cup? Yes, golden cup. All right, Ayman and Ibrahim are leading the board with in second place. All right, why did the brothers visit Egypt the first time? To see the pyramids, to have fun, to buy food, or to look for Yusuf alayhi salam? So why did they visit the first time? That's right, to buy food. Because there was a famine, right? So they were looking for food. All right, Ayman and Ibrahim are still in the lead. What animal did the king see in his dream? Did he see cows, horses, dinosaurs, or monkeys? Yes, he saw cows. 7 fat cows and 7 skinny cows, remember? All right. Down to the last 2 questions. Where can you submit your answers to the homework questions? Can you submit your answers on the MCNA Facebook page, Instagram page, our email address, or all of the above? Yes, those are all the correct answers, okay? You can submit it any of those ways. All right, last question. Which one does not describe Yusuf alayhi salam? He trusted Allah, he was jealous, he never gave up, or he was forgiving. Which one does not describe him? He was jealous, right? That does not describe Yusuf alayhi salam. All right, so let's see who is the winner here. Third place, Safa and Zed, good job. Second place goes to unique name. First place goes to Ayman and Ibrahim. All right, mashallah, good job, you guys. And the runners up, Unicorn, One, and Cool Kid. All right, mashallah, all of you, good job. Okay, let's go back. All right, so thank you for joining today. I'm going to hand it back over to the moderator for closing remarks and for dua.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Hifza, for such an amazing session, mashallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all the effort you have put into today's session and give barakah in your health, wealth, and time. Ameen. There are so many lessons we can learn from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. He was betrayed by his brothers, left alone in the well. He was made a slave, and then he was falsely accused of a crime he didn't even commit. But he never complained. He put his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and remained grateful to him. I'm sure that this was very helpful for all of us. May we all use what we learned today, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and protect us all. Ameen. Inshallah, I'll see you all next Friday. I'll conclude the session with Surah and Dua. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. سبحانك اللهم أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.